Well, we got married in '09 and always knew that kids were going to be a part of our future. So about 2010 or 11 maybe?
Yeah.
About a year and a half into our marriage, we were ready to start a family, and it wasn't, going the way we had planned. I kind of had always envisioned adopting at some point in my life, although maybe later in life, but I thought, this was just sooner than we may have expected. So after a few months, we contacted a few different agencies, went to an informational meeting at Bethany, and signed up with them right away. We just both felt that was where we should adopt from, and that they would lead us through the process from beginning to end. And so that was October 2011. By May of 2012, our son was born.
At first, with the whole adoption process too, I wasn't sure at the beginning if that was something I wanted to do until we went to that informational session with Bethany, and I'm kind of like, well, this is definitely something that is right and that would be great for us. At first, I think we were kind of a little hesitant with the openness because we didn't know anything about it. And then throughout the training, we read books and learned more about the openness and what it really means.
What you see on the news is the very small percentage of open adoptions that don't work, where one of the birth parents or both of the birth parents come back and you lose the child, and if that's all you see about open adoptions, I have family members who are adoptive, but it was internationally, so there was no level of openness there. So we have had no personal experience with open adoption before our own. So all we knew was the horror stories you see on TV, and until we found out more about it, the more we found out about it, the more I think we both thought, how could we not have an open adoption for our children, because it's best for everyone involved, not just the birth mother or birth father, but of course our child, our son. When he gets older, he won't have to question as much. And then for us, I think, for the relationship, it's been great, but also for, if we have a medical question or something, we have a source we can go to. So even for the more logistical stuff. Our other fears in an open adoption, or more, maybe a fear I hadn't expected as much, is our family's acceptance of an open adoption. There was never a question that they were more than excited about us adopting. Like us, they had only seen and heard horror stories about it, and hadn't really heard the positive side of it. So it took us, sending them books on the topic and sharing with our family stuff that we had learned about open adoptions, until they started to feel comfortable with. And now most of our family has met Nolan's birth mom.
She was at Nolan's first birthday party when our parents and family were there, so she got to meet all of our family there.
We met her at the Bethany offices first. I think that was before she had gone through the process of officially picking us, I guess. And I think for both of us, it was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. We got there early and spoke with the social worker we had been working with, probably like way too early. I don't think she was expecting us that early, but we didn't know what else to do. And so we went there and talked with her, and she's great and helped ease some of our anxiety about it. And I always say it like this, like we went in and we shook Christina, his birth mother's hand, and then we hugged on the way up. So it couldn't have gone better. She, and I think that's due in large part to her personality. She's very open and very talkative, and there were very few, if any, awkward silences.
It's been like that from the start, I guess. And of course, like, the relationship's grown from that moment. Well, from the meeting, and once we were, I guess, officially selected, placed, we started off with email. Kristen would email with Christina pictures and stuff like that. Then they became Facebook friends. I became Facebook friends with her, sharing stuff with her via social media. Then we'd probably get together.
We lived about 5 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, we lived like right down the street, so it was pretty close together. But yeah, we would get together for dinner, meet somewhere for dinner. Is kind of where we started. But now we have them over for dinner here at the house, so that's kind of where we are now. But
yeah, I think that at first, when we first started the open adoption, and at our first meeting even, well, she had originally been planning to move to Kansas City, so that, we would be in a very different place right now with Openness, I think, if we were not in such close proximity. But because we both live so close to each other, over time she would have, my mom sent him some clothes, can we meet up and exchange this? And it would become for those reasons. And then it's like, well, we haven't seen you in a while, so let's get together.
Yeah, it's not as formal as you think it would be. Going into it, you think it'd be a formal event, like, oh, we're getting together with the birth mother, we're gonna do this, and kind of go our separate ways. But now it is kind of like a friendship, I guess, or extended family. So definitely, it's comfortable. It's not awkward by any means. So.
No, and I think the first few meetings, I made sure he was dressed in the cutest clothes he had, and we were just model parents and whatever. But she does not care. Like, she chose us the book that we made. That she first saw of us. Our hope and our prayer in making that book was that it truly represented who we were, and not trying to hide anything, because we wanted the birth mother to know, like, where her child was going to be and what that life was going to be like. And so I think just over time, like, well, this is it. There's toys on the floor, and he's got food on his clothes, and she doesn't care, and it's so comfortable now that those aren't even issues anymore. Yeah, I remember one of the meetings before, we actually brought Nolan home because there were 6 weeks from his birth until we got to bring him home. And we had met at a cafe with Christina, and then also with some of the people from Bethany. And I kind of was trying to put myself in her shoes. If I was a birth mother and choosing adoption, what would be my biggest fear? And mine would be that although the adoptive parents might say, yes, we're going to communicate this often with you, and we'll see you at such and such dates, there's nothing holding us to this relationship with her. There's no legal papers, there's nothing. So if I was a birth mother, I would fear that the adoptive parents over time would kind of phase that out. And I just told her that second meeting, that was the second time we met her, she didn't bring it up. I just said, just so you know, like, we will never, like, try to keep him from you. As much communication as you want, we're open for. So I think that hopefully that helped ease some of her fears.
One of the great resources was having Bethany locally here in St. Louis, and just being so close to us to where we could go over there and talk to our social worker, grab some literature to read about openness, go to our trainings there, meet other adoptive families.
Yeah, so I think we just liked that closeness of that, and we felt like, they don't have a whole bunch of people that work there, so we could get to know each of them. And everyone we met, starting from the beginning at Bethany, we felt comfortable with.
some other resources that I had some friends from high school back in Indiana that have gone through adoption as well. So I got to talk to them about their journey as well. So all those were great resources that we had going through the process.
For me, the biggest joy in having an open adoption is, I think I would say, the relationship that I am looking forward to seeing my son have with his birth mom one day. I think that right now she's more of maybe an aunt figure, since he can't really understand exactly who she is. But I'm hoping that it continues on the path that it's going, and that that she's someone that he'll want to call and tell about a good grade, or that she'll come to his soccer game, or whatever it may be. So just having that extra support person for him as he goes through life, not many people get that. So something I wasn't expecting with the open adoption was really just seeing her as an extended family member, and her family, even though we haven't met a lot of her family, but the way that she talks about him, I hadn't thought about anyone else other than her. And he has this whole extended family beyond her, and it's neat that through her, she's given us pictures of people in her life who have passed on, grandparents and things, and so he has those pictures now, even though he'll never meet them. And I just think that was something I didn't expect.
I guess just how easy it's been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if easy is the perfect word for it, but going into it, like I said earlier, just you think it's going to be more formal and kind of forced, something that you should be doing, but now, it's something that is natural to us, and
we look forward to having them over.
Have them over, I'll make them dinner, and we have a good time. We sit and talk and hang out.
Advice for prospective adoptive parents would be that they keep an open mind regarding openness. I think it's important to be flexible and not to place expectations on what kind of relationship you're going to form with birth parents. I think that in future adoptions, I think we have to start with a fresh slate and just kind of go with it, and be open to openness.
Educate yourself about it, learn more about it, because that's what allowed us to be more open. When you don't know about it, you have fears just because you're uneducated on the topic. So once you read the books, talk to some, because we got to meet some birth mothers throughout our training who didn't have the open relationship, and it was kind of heartbreaking. To us, it was just like, that was the only way to go for us. But without learning throughout the process, you wouldn't get to that point. So I guess I would suggest that people do make sure that they do their duty and learn as much as they can about openness.
I think also adoption may be unexpected for some people. It may not have been the route that they were originally thinking of forming their family in. And so I think you have to, if it is your situation, to come to peace with whatever led you to adoption, and then go on to consider the openness, because considering it all at once is a lot to handle. And so I think do things a step at a time and don't rush it. And if you come across and adopt a situation where the openness level scares you, then don't do it, because then it's not right for you. So I think just being patient and waiting for the right child to come along and the right situation to come along.